Hey guys, it's Lady. In this video, I am going to talk about a very serious topic, and that is how I coped with my childhood molestations. Um, this is not something that people will just come out and talk about, but I have grown and learned from what had happened to me and about what it was, and I'm just trying to express how I deal with it, um, and now as an adult. So when I was 4 or 5, somewhere in between there, um, I had two babysitters, um, Linda and George. Now, Linda, she was cool. They weren't married. They were just two babysitters that I had. And Linda, she was cool. She was really nice. But George, I, that was um, a different story. I remember, I still remember his face. And if you are ever a victim of um, molestation, or if you've ever been really sexually assaulted and you you remember what the person's face looks like, um that's what I remember. I remember his face. I remember, and now I remember his face. I remember the way he walked. I remember the way he talked. I remember what his house looks like when you walk into it. I remember what he always fed us for lunch. I remember standing in front of his house, and if you looked to the left of his house, you can see like this highway. You can see like the highway, but I remember it all. So it was me, one of my family members, and there was other kids as well. We were all around the same age, and I think there was like 7 to 9 of us, and there was also an infant baby. So, what he would do is he would have us all um, stacked on top of each other. It would be the boys would lay down on their stomachs, and he would stack us on top of each other, and then he would do things to us. And as a kid, I didn't know what it was. uh, I don't I I didn't I knew that this should not be happening. um but when you're little and you don't know, or you don't fully understand, all you know is, you do what you're told. You hear that all throughout your whole childhood life, just do what you're told. And so I just did what I was told. And it wasn't until later on, from when I was, um in middle school. I was older. I was over the age of 10. I remember that. I was over the age of 10. And I was looking into sexual assault stuff, and like the difference is between molestation and rapes, because as a kid I didn't know what any of that stuff was. I just knew that it wasn't right. It didn't feel right. This shouldn't be happening, but it did. So I came to the conclusion that I was molested, and this went on numerous times. And I don't remember why I stopped going there. I think it's because um, my mom, she got different uh, shift changes because she always worked in assistant living places or like retirement homes, something like that. So, you know, I was little, she had to go to work. My dad is a long haul truck driver, and my older brother and sister were, they had school. So, you know, um, and this has affected a lot of my life. When I was growing up, I always had a problem with men. I didn't I didn't like men. Um, I I did not like men who reminded me of George. Like I didn't like guys who were tall. I did not like guys who were built. I didn't like guys who had, like a big nose. I didn't like guys who looked like him. And you know, it happened. There's nothing I can do right now that's going to change anything except make this video, I guess. So for the longest time I had a problem with men. Um but then, you know, time went on and I kept I kept blaming myself for not telling my mom because it wasn't just me. I also had one of my family members who went through the same thing with me and other kids. But if you are a victim of something that serious at that young of an age, sometimes it's hard to get out what you're feeling. So you kind of feel stuck, like you feel trapped, like you can't, if I say it like this, what's gonna happen, and you might fear what happens. So I eventually told my mom when I got older, when I knew what it was, and that was it, she was shocked, she was hurt, she was feeling every emotion you could, um, especially if it's something this serious that happened to your child. So now as an adult and being a mother myself, I I don't I don't like babysitters. Even to this day, I don't like babysitters. Um, but first, backtrack. I didn't like guys that reminded me of him. But as time went on, um, you just learn how to deal with stuff, and that stuff that happened to me when I was little, I let that stuff go. I just let it go. Um, I can't keep feeling like I did when I was a child now as an adult. At some point in your life, you have to let stuff go. So I let that go. But even now, to this day, I don't like babysitters. I don't like them. Um, I've been a babysitter. Um, and even I babysat kids around where I live. Uh, but it's always, that these are my babies. What's going to happen to my babies when I'm not there. But that's what background checks are for. That's what references are for. So as a parent, um, and if you are in a position where you need a babysitter, that's what background checks are for. And you know um, some things are easier to deal with um, than for some people rather than some other people. This took me. I'm 21. I'll be turning 22 next month, and this stuff happened to me when I was 4 or 5, and for years, every day, I would I would think of him, or I would um, see I would remember his face, but you know, things happen, and there are bad people out there, but not everyone is a bad person. So even now, I still don't like babysitters. Nothing against babysitters. Even you can be the best babysitter in the world. Um, it's just one of those things that if you need a babysitter, you know a good babysitter, you can find one, but there's always something in there that says, what's going to happen to my babies when I'm gone? And that's for everything. That's for when you have to have a babysitter when your kids start school, and when they start kindergarten and you leave them and stuff like that. But it is what it is. You can't keep holding on to things that you can't change. You can't let that person hold power over you, you know. And that's what I was doing. It was just I put myself back into my little kid shoes, and by doing so, he still has power over me. And now um, I've forgiven him for what he did to me. I um, I've just forgiven him, and some people can't do that, or some people won't do that, or some people don't know how to do that. Um, but it's just, this happened to me. I was hurt. I was sad. I've been taken advantage of. Was made to do things I didn't want to do. But I've learned from it. I've learned to um, I've learned the truth about a lot of things. I've learned the truth about life, and that just made me more aware of um, certain people in the world. So, but for some on any type of crazy chance that you, George, are watching, I have forgiven you for what you did to me, for what you made me do, for what you made us do. I hated you for a long time. I don't hate you anymore. I have forgiven you. And that's it. So, I hope this video has at least helped one person